Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source, and this is your video summary of the Montana Land Report for May 25th, 2022. Had a little bit of a slow week in the land market over the past 7 days, only 22 property updates, although a healthy number of new listings. 7 of those property updates were new listings. Also had 5 pending sales, 5 price changes, 4 of which were decreases, 1 increase, and 5 pending sales. Also have some newly featured properties on Montana Land Source. L&K Real Estate has advertised some properties with us, and we appreciate that. Appreciate that support. Some acreage in Big Sky, which doesn't come along very often. A nice property up by Townsend, and some properties northwest of Livingston, Montana. So check that out. I had the fortune of going to the Bucking Horse Sale in Miles City over the weekend. Hadn't been in a couple years. That's always a good time. And met some brokers I hadn't met before, like Lim Robinson from Western Skies and Mark McNamee from Clark and Associates. And both Western Skies and Clark and Associates, or Clark Land Brokers, excuse me, were sponsors of the Bucking Horse Sale, in addition to Fay Ranches and Hayden Outdoors. All those brokerages being clients and subscribers of Montana Land Source. So that was great fun, and appreciate the support from those guys. In upcoming events, I was going to mention that I also went to the Easement Seminar last week in Helena. That was a great event put on by the seminar group. Lots of detailed information on easements in Montana and quite a bit of focus on conservation easements. It was great to be around the conservation easement professionals. Montana is a leader in that sector, and it was great to be reminded of the history of the easements in Montana and the Montana law that makes that possible. And it was interesting to be reminded that that law and conservation easements were sought after and established as a private private property rights alternative to land conservation. So kind of as an alternative to federal designations and that kind of thing. And I think that's a good reminder for people to be reminded that conservation easements are a private transaction. And sometimes the land trust can be a public entity like Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, or U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, but they can also be with land trusts that are private entities, nonprofits. So very interesting there. Good event as always, and great to be around those professionals. Max Hansen, who is our resident Montana expert on 1031 exchanges, he presented some information about how conservation easements can be utilized and combined with 1031s. And he's actually the presenter and speaker at the upcoming Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting next Thursday, first of the month. He's coming all the way from Dillon to Billings to present to us on that. That'll be a great event. 1031s are a significant aspect in the Montana land market. A lot of buyers and sellers utilizing 1031 exchanges, so it's important to stay up on that. And Max Hansen is as expert as it gets on that, so we're fortunate to have him in state. And in addition, there's a ranch or a ag tour coming up by the Billings Chamber of Commerce. I've actually never had the fortune of doing that event, so I'm looking forward on doing that this year, coming up in June. And there's also the Ag Lenders Range School, which is great education for appraisers and realtors and lenders and whatnot. So lots of good events coming up. All that can be found on the events page at mtlandsource.com. So that's the report for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, you can find all this information at www.mtlandsource.com, and also find these videos on YouTube, and we have content on social media such as Facebook and LinkedIn. Thanks everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.